our merge values haven't really changed that much in 26 years. I think that our values have kind of withstood the test of time. I think a lot of other organizations have caught up to us in many ways. But I'm really proud of the values that we've had for all these years. About 12 years ago, some of us got together and we worked with a guy named Dan on our values, the core values of our ministry. And lately I've been thinking, it'd probably be good to revisit these values. So I've sent you an email with kind of updated values. I'd like you to look at those. And I'd be open to any input that you have towards our values, changing, tweaking, whatever we need to do with our values. Okay? So I kind of want to go over the merge values again. One of the reasons is Covenant offices, Serve Globally, has really been challenging me that we need to be a little more specific on how to create better outcomes for the people that participate on the trips. We've really been focused on what happens with the site that receives the team, and I'm really proud of that because a lot of organizations don't. But they're asking, what's the outcome? When a group goes back home, are they changing the way they do ministry because of what they learned on a merge trip? And so I think we need to add a little bit of that and to think through how can we make a difference in that area. So let's go over the core values. I sent you these core values again. And so I want you to look at them. I kind of changed them a little bit from what we had before. Number one, we're a covenant ministry. We're part of the Evangelical Covenant Church of the United States and Canada. That's our niche. That's who we are. We're part of Serve Globally. And so those churches are the ones that we primarily serve. Now there's 850 covenant churches in the United States and Canada, and we have about 50 of them that go on merge trips every year, which means we have 800 more to go every single year to try to recruit. And I know we have schools and we have churches that are not covenant that come with us. We have no problem with that. We'll take whoever. But that's our primary focus, our covenant churches. Number two is partnering. And the big phrase is doing things with the local church, not for them. There's a lot of organizations that still do things for the local church and not with the local church. So you are the key in that as a trip facilitator. Number three is learning. We really want people in the United States and Canada to learn from the global church. Learning from the global church. For so many years, it's always been, hey, the Americans feel like they have to go teach the global church everything. And that's been a huge mistake. And so we're really wanting that for North Americans, when they travel, to learn from the global church, go back to their homes, and then implement some of the things that they learned while they went on that trip. That's where we come in. We've got to help coach them in figuring out how do they do that in their own context, in their own home areas. How can we follow up with them and find out what they're doing? Because that's what the covenant wants to find out. What covenant churches, what individuals, what youth groups are changing the way they do ministry because they went on a merge trip. Number four, community. And Alex wants to continue to talk to everyone about the types of sites that you choose. It's very important that any site that we take a team to is very involved in their community. That we don't want a team going and repainting any church wall for the 5,000th time. We want our groups to go partner with churches that are very involved in their community. So you, as a trip facilitator, make sure that these churches are extremely involved in what's going on in their own communities. Number five, this is about ministry. This is about the kingdom of God. This isn't a social trip. This isn't just trying to be good people. This is about Jesus Christ and the gospel. Number six, very relational, and we've always been really big on that. Whatever we do on every trip, we want relationships to be built. We want to do everything we can to connect the people from the team and the people from the community together. And number seven, skill sharing is what I'm calling it. I changed that wording We had the word enhance before. I don't like that word anymore. I'm using skill sharing, about utilizing the skills of the people from the team in whatever ministry the local church is doing. How can we utilize their skills to better the ministry that's going on in the area? So I call it skill sharing. And then I added this one called outcome, and this is brand new. Again, and I'd like to read it. For participants from North America to return home with a passion for intercultural relationships, social justice, and ministry, to implement changed behaviors and initiate new ministries and social change in their church and communities for Jesus. So the question that the ECC is asking, do we have any stories where people went on these trips, they went back home, and because of what they learned from the global church and what they learned by participating in ministry in an international setting, that they went back home and made significant changes in the way they lived their lives, in the way they did ministry, in the way their youth group did ministry, in the way their church did ministry. And we need to figure out as a ministry ourselves how to help make that happen in the groups, the churches that participate with us. So again, look over these core values. If you have any recommendations on different wording, or if you would think maybe we should change something, I'm open. I'm very open to this. But I want to make sure we start tweaking our values a little bit.